So I assume since you're watching my lore videos that you have already watched all of the Loregasm episodes, and if you haven't, shame on you. This video will tell the same story as the Phantom Assassin Loregasm episode, so if you're expecting something new, then I'm sorry. The reason why I'm doing it now specifically is because Spectre was added to Underlords, and our new voice lines confirms this theory to be true. But before we talk about the theory, let's go through the basics of Phantom Assassin's lore in Dota 2 and Artifact. This is our Dota 2 bio. Through a process of divination, children are selected for upbringing by the Sisters of the Veil, an order that considers assassination a sacred part of the natural order. The Veiled Sisters identify targets through meditation and oracular utterances. They accept no contracts and never seem to pursue targets for political or mercenary reasons. Their killings bear no relation to any recognizable agenda and can seem to be completely random. A figure of great power is no more likely to be eliminated than a peasant or a well-digger. Whatever patterns the killings may contain, it is only known to them. They treat their victims as sacrifices, and death at their hand is considered an honor. Raised with no identity except that of their order, any Phantom Assassin can take the place of any other. Their number is not known. Perhaps there are many, perhaps there are few. Nothing is known of what lies under the Phantom Veil, except that this one, from time to time, when none are near to hear, is known to stir her veils with the forbidden whisper of her own name, Mortred. Mortred the Phantom Assassin is part of the Sisters of the Veil, an order of assassins. Girls are selected and abducted to join through meditation and/or an oracle. The assassinations are not decided through contracts or for money, and neither for political beliefs. The killings seem to be completely random, as they don't distinguish between poor farmers or rich kings. The Sisters of the Veil are very mysterious, and no one knows the pattern of their killings or how many of them there are. They don't have identities and are not allowed to have a name, but one sister remembers it, and that's Mortred the Phantom Assassin. Now before we get into the theory about PA and the heroes she's connected to, let's go over her artifact lore. This is her artifact bio.
The Veiled Sisterhood gave me everything. My life, my skills, my family, my very purpose. So when the Veiled Oracles provide me a list of names, I never question what it is I need to do. My task in Revtel has set many events into motion. A new merchant king will rise to stand alongside Sunbreeze and the Brass Herald. The Relic Slayer has grown bolder in Iron Fog, and the Veiled Sisterhood is now at war with Revtel. But all of this was seen by the Veiled Oracles, and all is as it needs to be.
So basically the nation Revtel consists of 3 kingdoms with each their merchant king: Lord Sunbreeze, Darkwillow's father, the Brass Herald of Ironfog, and Corthius of Somme. I explained why it's Somme in my Beastmaster video if you want to know more about that. PA assassinated Corthius, which messed with the timeline and caused Sorrel to clash with the Bronze Legion and Roseleaf. I talk about this in my Legion Commander video. The assassination is also what eventually caused Rix to take the oath and to raise the undead. I'm not going into details because it's pretty big stuff and not really related to Phantom Assassin. The only thing you need to know right now is that PA killed a king which had huge consequences in the timeline of Dota, Artifact and Underlords. And now, the Veil Sisters are at war with Revtel. In Artifact, we also meet some other Sisters of the Veil. This one is from the card Assassin's Shadow.
For the most powerful of our order, not even death removes us from our sacred duty. Our communion with the Phantom Veil is strong enough to let our spirit live on, long after our bodies have rot. The mortal coil is now behind me, and the presence of my sisters, while comforting, is a distraction from the work I must do. My list still has names on it, and I won't rest until they're dead.
So the Veiled Sisters don't stop assassinating until their list of names to kill is empty, even after their bodies are rotted away. Keep this at the back of your mind for later. Now with all that out of the way, let's get into our arcana and the theory about the Veiled Oracle and PA's future. With a raspy cackle, the elder smith Krayler swung the sword that his family had spent 11 generations to fold and forge. So sharp it was that, with a sound like tearing fabric, a rip in reality tore open. Through this rip, Krayler recognized himself from moments before, holding aloft the very same coveted blade. Then, in a fit of greed and madness, he cut his earlier self down to seize the twin sword as his own. Too late, however, Krayler felt a familiar wound, and was suddenly filled with the memory of being cut down himself. So the Arcana bio is not really that interesting. What's interesting is the comic, The Contract. The Contract is about Phantom Assassin about to kill Oracle. Oracle curiously knows her name, and says that he has seen this moment many times across timelines. Sometimes he's killed, sometimes she's killed. Then he tells her that he will let her know why she was sent there and other answers if she does him a favor. She has to kill anyone who tries to kill him. And then she is given the Twin Blade Arcana. What's really interesting here is that it's the Veiled Oracle who tells the sisters who to kill. And like you have already guessed, Oracle, the Dota 2 hero, just gave her targets to kill. Are they perhaps one and the same? Has the Oracle himself been giving out orders this whole time, making targets of anyone who might think of killing him? Is the Sisterhood just a big cult of warriors whose only purpose is to protect him from anyone who might want him dead? I personally believe that that's the case. But what's even more interesting is she's growing more and more otherworldly from constantly cutting through time and space, moving around, killing targets between timelines, losing her original look more and more. This we saw in the artifact card Assassin's Shadow, and here comes Slax's most interesting theory. What if there's another hero in Dota 2 tied to Phantom Assassin? What if, as PA gets more and more distorted, she eventually turns into a ghost that can't even remember her purpose or name? A Spectre. Spectre's abilities are as follows: a dagger that slows, a defensive passive that makes her tanky, an offensive passive that makes her deal more damage, and a mobility spell that makes her move around more easily. Sound familiar? And now let's compare her voice to normal PA and Arcana PA.
Attack! Attack! Attack!
In fact, let's hear how she evolves over time.
Phantom Assassin! The Veiled Sisters sent me. The Veiled Oracle chose you. I'm here to blur the line between life and death.
I feel blurry. The Sisters of the Veil honor your death.
I don't know who I am, but I know what I must do. There are still names on my list. My past is lost to me, but the present is clear. Wisdom from the oracles. I remember now. I had sisters.
From elsewhere. From elsewhere. Where is this? When is this? Where was familiar? Now is lost. Spectre is everywhere. Spectre is nowhere. A voice is heard, and a thought made into meaning. What is happening? Can I understand myself?
What is this place? I can't understand. Lost. What is it they want? I wish to go home. I do not understand. I am assassination. I will never look at this.
So basically, she goes from being a self-assured assassin on a mission. She knows her name, she knows who she is, her being part of the Veiled Sisters, she knows where she gets her orders from. Then in Underlords, she remembers some things. And then it's just a pit full of fear, amnesia, and confusion. She doesn't know why she kills or who she is, she only follows a voice in her head as she gets more and more glitchy and unintelligible. I hope that maybe Spectre's upcoming Arcana will tell more about this tale, since she just won the vote. But until then, that's it for this video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and peace.